don't let today's failures determine tomorrow's despair. Because before you know what's happened, you're going to have your head in your hands. You're going to be wondering, where did it all go wrong? How did I get back into this mental hell from where I just escaped? Brother, we have high standards. We are not here to flop around and be average, mediocre cucks. And so, obviously, we set high standards for ourselves. That's an amazing thing, but the magic happens on those days where things don't go to plan. You write this elaborate schedule, this routine that you're going to follow to the T, but the chaos, you get lost in the source and you end up not having the day you wanted. How you respond to that will determine your trajectory. If you cave in and crumble and let one bad day become 2, and then 3, and then a week, and then a month, and then you're back into this rut that you've just fought your way out of. Don't let that happen, bro. Literally, just be like, okay, today didn't go as planned. What can I learn from it? For example, today didn't go as planned for me. For my bro who's watching this, who I promised to make a video about losing motivation when you get an injury when you're training, I'm sorry, I have not managed to keep that promise that I made. I told you that on Monday I was gonna make that video. Today's Monday, no video. Obviously that's completely my fault, but today's just been one of those days where it's been hustle, it's been chaos, it's been literally me working 3 different jobs to make a bit of extra money to save for the next stage of my plan. And that's where I messed up, because there's instant gratification and delayed gratification. We already know this, right? And when you're delicately balanced in doing reactive work and creative work, because you're still trapped in the rat race and you still have to, make money through random crappy jobs. You have to balance this line of urgent versus important. And today I messed up that line quite badly. And instead of making a video based on what I'd planned, when my brain was already fried and I had basically spent the entire day just working, I thought, why not share the relevant lessons that I've learned today while they're still fresh in my mind? And lesson 1, which is what I just shared with you, is that don't let today's failure define tomorrow's despair. Today, I worked so many hours that I still haven't managed to hit the gym, and it's 8:30 p.m. already. If you don't know already, I wake up at 4 a.m. every day apart from Saturday to, have time in the morning for building discipline and developing into the new next level of my identity. I wake up at 4 a.m. no matter what. That's non-negotiable for me, apart from Saturday, like I said, because it's Sabbath, it's the Lord's Day of Rest. But anyway, today I'm faced with a choice right here, right now. I could say, frig my excuses, frig my lazy cope, and whatever you want to call it. Let's go train. And don't get me wrong, there is part of me that really, really wants to go into the gym right now and hit the session that I should have hit much earlier in the day. Because the day's not over yet, and I have made it very clear that I don't mind sacrificing my sleep. But here's the kicker, right? That is the decision that the current / old version of Matt would make. This is a decision that would be more reactive. The decision of flailing around and trying to desperately reclaim what I think I might have lost. This would feed today's failures, and it would make tomorrow way rougher. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is that sometimes the more disciplined choice is to pull back instead of push forwards aimlessly, because if I wasn't in quite an aggressive calorie deficit and I wasn't 7 weeks out from a bodybuilding show, I would say fuck it, don't be a pussy, Matt, let's go train, let's end up going to bed at 10, 11, sacrifice a bit of sleep for the feeling of, yes, I accomplished it. I managed to hit the gym even after a long day of work. And if I was in a different phase of life, I 100% would be on my way to the gym right now. But after speaking with my coach, we both agreed that the most logical, sensible decision would be to just go home and go to sleep, so that I'll be setting myself up for a much more productive rest of the week. Because let's say I hit the gym right now, I end up gaining a lot more energy because it's leg day, it's a brutal leg day. I'm going to be screaming, I'm going to be grunting, my CNS all going to be fired up, I'm going to be wired. Yes, I'm going to be pretty exhausted afterwards, but I'm going to have that like fresh post gym glow that would make it make it impossible to fall straight asleep afterwards. And by the time I'm done, it'll already be like 10:30. And there's a fine line. There's a balance to play between when to know if you're being a pussy versus when you're actually doing the disciplined warrior monk thing and choosing recovery instead. And I'm very certain that I'm making the right decision today. I don't have anything to prove to anyone apart from myself. If I was in a phase of, trying to increase more mental strength and killing my little bitch brain, I 100% would go to the gym right now. But like I keep saying, sometimes the discipline is in the rest. Anyway, that's not a little lesson that I learned today. The final one, and the most important one, is learning and committing fully to whatever season of life you're in and prioritizing your focus accordingly. Man, I just said so many freaking complicated words all back to back. What I mean to say is know what period of life you're in and know what the main priority is. For me, that's bodybuilding. That's stepping on stage, displaying the best physique I've ever had to the world. So, what would have been much better than prioritizing a little bit of extra money today would have been to hit the gym nice and early. Because normally I go to the gym almost first thing. After I do my morning routine, after I prepare my meals for the day, I go straight to the gym before work, like you should. But today I got called in to an early shift that didn't leave time for me to go to the gym, unless I would have woken up at 2:30 instead of 4. I chose not to do that. I chose to go to work and go to the gym afterwards, but the monkey mind got the better of me yet again, because after I finished my first work shift of the day, it was only about 12:30 p.m. and I could have easily smashed out a gym session and then had the rest of the day free to keep doing more jobs to make extra money, and I would have been able to film a better video with more presence, maybe a breathwork session beforehand, so I would come on here with more still and grounded energy. But no. I instead chose a reactive task of the day, which is, as soon as my first shift of work finished, I started refreshing my Amazon Flex app like a complete crackhead, and what do you know, I managed to get another little run. I was like, bosh, yes, okay, I'm gonna do this run and then I'll go to the gym. Yeah, how did that work out? Yeah, cool. While I was waiting for that run, my boy called me and he told me, Matt, if you're interested, there's some extra work you could do today. So yeah, I ended up doing 3 jobs today, all of which took just a ludicrous amount of time, leaving me having to record this while I'm driving back home and stealing my ability to train. I did this to myself. I have to remind myself of that. Every single decision that you make has led you to this situation that you're in. And the decisions I've made today led to me being in a bit of a fluster. Yeah, cool, I did make some decent money. Definitely more savings to put into the next stage of my plan, but I allowed my priorities to get messed up, and even worse, I didn't manage to honor my word to my brother. You, who might be watching this right now, who I told that I would create a video about motivation after injury, that I was supposed to do today. I'm sorry, bro, I'm sorry. If I managed my time and my focus better, it would have happened. But hey, that's the bottom line. We loop back to the first lesson of the day, which is that you shouldn't make today's failures turn into tomorrow's despair. Because tomorrow is a new day. I don't have another early shift. I start at the usual time, meaning I have ample opportunity in the morning to do everything I need to do. Morning routine, prep my meals, go to the gym, and then after the gym, I'll be in a much higher frequency, able to record the video that I promised you, and I'll be able to be a lot more coherent after a good night's sleep tonight. So, with that being said, brother, once again, I do apologize, but no matter how many failures you encounter, just learn how to quickly snap back to the path without beating yourself up and letting yourself spiral downwards into self-hatred, because there's no quicker way to fall back into a rut than allowing setbacks to define your entire mood. There's so much to be grateful for today. I made some good money. I worked. I felt what it meant like to work like a long shift. Man, I've been driving all day. I'm so sick of driving, but it's just another chip in the just another brick in the wall, you could say. Peace, brother. At the end of the day, all we have is the current moment. And if we're in our heads, churning negativity, just thinking, oh, how much of a failure am I? We're failing not just in terms of our progress, but in our current enjoyment. So just don't do it, man. Laugh it off, breathe, and no matter how chaotic it gets, always return to relentless action with violent clarity.